Our film begins with a turkey named Reggie screaming when he sees humans cooking a turkey for dinner, because today is the holiday. He panics and runs quickly to the rest of his flock living on a farm, warning them about the humans and explaining that they're going to be eaten. But all the turkeys think Reggie is crazy, and they're even convinced the humans love them dearly because the farmer gives them free food. Even when the farmer takes one of them away to be slaughtered, they celebrate, believing that turkey is going to turkey paradise. Naturally, Reggie thinks all the turkeys on the farm are idiots acting insane. At night, he feels cold, and when he goes to sleep with the others, the turkeys push him away from them. Suddenly, they hear the sound of a helicopter, and an old turkey comes in and tells them that Reggie's words are true. The humans are going to eat them. Reggie gets frustrated because they never listen to him, and he explains how they can escape from here. Despite that, the turkeys still think he's crazy, so they pick him up and throw him out of the coop. Suddenly, Reggie is terrified when a little girl grabs him and takes him to a press conference. At this conference, we see the President of the United States welcoming everyone present, telling them that for the holiday, they will pardon one turkey, and this turkey will never be eaten. The little girl, who turns out to be the president's daughter, comes in and tells her father that she chose this turkey. She keeps crying in front of the cameras and pressuring her dad until he agrees and chooses Reggie to be the pardoned turkey. After that, the girl takes Reggie and they board the plane, which takes off. Once Reggie understands from the girl that he's safe and no one will hurt him, he's overjoyed. A while later, the plane arrives. The girl takes Reggie inside the house and they look around the place. Suddenly, she tells him she's tired and wants to sleep, and she dozes off. Reggie keeps watching TV until he finds a TV series he likes and follows it. He's dazzled when he sees a pizza commercial on TV. He calls the restaurant and goes out to receive the pizza from the delivery guy. The days pass, and Reggie is living a very happy life, watching his series, having fun, grabbing the president's remote, playing with the laser pointer, ordering more pizza, and even becoming friends with the delivery guy. Then one day, we notice someone watching Reggie. This someone breaks into the house, kidnaps Reggie, and keeps running with him. When Reggie gets out of the bag, we learn the kidnapper's name is Jake, and he explains that he's from the secret organization for turkey protection. Reggie panics, screams, and runs fast, but Jake knocks him down and talks to him, telling him that the great turkey appeared to him from the sky, asked him to search for him, and gave him this doorknob. Reggie is baffled. It's just a doorknob, and becomes convinced Jake is a lunatic. But Jake takes him anyway, and they go to a place near the president's residence. We learn there's a secret lab there, and inside this lab is a time machine. Reggie understands that they're going to steal the time machine and go back to the first Thanksgiving to save all the turkeys. At that point, Reggie is certain Jake is insane. There's no time machine and no secret lab. But Jake drags him along by force. They sneak in and enter what looks like an ordinary barn. Reggie mocks Jake and keeps sarcastically pretending everything here is from the future, until he accidentally moves a lever, and suddenly the whole place transforms into an elevator that takes them deep underground. The moment they exit the elevator, Reggie panics and tries to climb back out through the hatch but can't. Then he and Jake start exploring the place until they find a map on the wall. Looking at the map, Reggie learns that if they follow the red line, they'll reach the time machine. But if they follow the blue line, it leads to the exit. He tricks Jake into thinking they must follow the blue line, and the two set off. Meanwhile, we see the president and the general going down to the secret lab to test the time machine. They head to the control room and communicate with the person who will travel through time, cheering him on. At that moment, Reggie and Jake reach the end of the blue line and get close to the exit. The moment Reggie sees the guards, he goes to them hoping they'll let him out, but the guards decide to open fire on them. At the last moment, Jake saves him and they sneak toward the surveillance guards. Jake throws a bolt to distract them, but the bolt keeps bouncing from place to place until it hits Reggie, who screams from the pain. When the guards see him, Reggie and Jake run fast to escape them. Meanwhile, the president and the general insert the keys and activate the time machine. Back with Reggie and Jake, running from the guards, they enter the time machine chamber, which turns out to be a glowing egg. When Jake notices the guards closing in, he picks Reggie up and sprints with him. At that moment, the person inside the time machine gets scared and runs out of it, unlike Jake, who charges toward the machine, hurls Reggie inside, and jumps in after him. The time machine, whose name we learn is STEVE, communicates with them, closes the door, and lightning starts spreading everywhere. The moment the guards see what's happening, they get scared and decide not to enter. Suddenly, everyone in the control room loses gravity and floats in the air because of the time machine. Reggie, terrified by what's happening, grabs the president's remote and makes things even worse, and the time machine vanishes from the place. A while later, it appears in the void. STEVE, the time machine, communicates with Jake and Reggie and asks them their destination. Jake asks him to take them to the very first Thanksgiving. STEVE sets the destination and takes off. Soon, the Time machine arrives in the year 1621, specifically 3 days before the first Thanksgiving. Jake steps out of the time machine happy, unlike Reggie, who's exhausted and miserable. Steve tells Reggie he'll activate auto recharge since the power is low, and he cloaks completely. Because Reggie is scared, he walks along with Jake, grumbling, when suddenly gunfire erupts at them and 3 dogs chase them down. A hunter appears too and tries to kill them. Unluckily, the dogs manage to corner Reggie, and just before the hunter shoots him, a rock is thrown at the rifle and Reggie blacks out. When Reggie comes to, he finds himself and Jake hanging in a tree, watching the hunters searching for them below. The moment the hunters leave, a flock of turkeys appears, the ones who saved Jake and Reggie. The leader of the turkey squad tells them to move out before the hunters come back, and Jake and Reggie join them. Before Reggie falls from the tree, a turkey named Jenny catches him and also saves him from the bullets the hunters fire at him. All the turkeys keep leaping from branch to branch to escape the hunters, then drop down into the tall grass so they can't be seen. But the hunters throw dynamite at them. Despite all the explosions, the turkeys manage to escape, except for 2 young ones who get captured. The hunter's leader is furious when he sees the turkeys fleeing the area, and he chases them until he hits a dead end without catching a single one. We then see the turkeys hidden in an underground spot, deciding to return to their nest and inform the chief of what happened. But Jake thinks they should go to the humans' fort and attack it to free the captured turkeys. Ranger, the squad leader, refuses, and he and Jake start challenging each other, each one flexing his muscles in front of everyone, shoving and hitting each other. Before they fight again, Jenny stops them and insists they must return to the nest, so they all set off. We then go to the humans' fort, where we see the settlers furious and shouting at the governor because they need to eat. The governor tells them the food stored here is being saved for a feast for the Native Americans, explaining that if he doesn't hold a feast for them, there will be no peace and they might attack and destroy the fort. But everyone present loses their temper and nearly assaults the governor. At the last moment, the hunters arrive at the fort. The governor rejoices, expecting they've caught the turkeys, but he's shocked to find only 2 small ones in the crate. He asks Standish, the hunter's leader, what happened. Standish, enraged, swears he will hunt down the turkeys in the forest no matter what, and storms off. We go to Jenny and the turkeys, who reach a certain tree and descend through a secret entrance. Reggie is delighted when he learns from Jenny that Ranger is her brother, and he starts falling for her. We see Ranger and Jake turning everything between them into a contest, diving into the entrance together. Reggie also goes down the entrance and arrives at the turkey's nest, which is enormous. Jake addresses everyone present, revealing that he and Reggie came from the future in a time machine named Steve, and he asked them to unite with him to fight the humans and defeat them. But the flock's chief steps in and refuses. Jenny introduces the chief to Jake and Reggie. He turns out to be her father. The chief welcomes them and shows them around, taking them to the egg nest and showing them the little chicks, explaining that they can't risk the future of these chicks by going to war with the humans. Jake respects his decision and plays with the chicks, genuinely happy. Later, Jenny bids Reggie goodnight and leaves him to sleep. The next day, the chief of the flock assigns tasks to each group. He asks Jenny and Reggie to go disable the traps, and asks Ranger to take Jake to keep watch on the fort and find out what the hunters are planning. Everyone sets off on their missions. We go to Standish and the hunters roaming the forest searching for the turkeys and setting traps everywhere. We see Jenny and Reggie watching from up in the trees. The moment the hunters leave, Reggie and Jenny jump down to disable the traps. By accident, Reggie gets snagged on a branch, falls to the ground, and ends up disabling the traps one after another completely unintentionally. One trap even smacks him and launches him far away. Jenny is impressed by what he did and thanks him. Meanwhile, Jake and Ranger are goofing around and competing in the forest, each claiming to be stronger than the other, headbutting and wrestling each other, and Ado watching them is dazzled and applauds them. Back to Reggie, who has told Jenny everything about the future. At the last moment, Jenny saves him from a trap that would have killed him. Suddenly, the dogs spot them and give chase. Luckily, Reggie notices they're close to the time machine, grabs Jenny, and heads for it. Jenny is dazzled when she sees the time machine, and she and Reggie climb inside. The time machine vanishes quickly, but Standish arrives, notices their footprints, and senses something strange. The moment he throws some gunpowder, the time machine's outline appears. He sees Jenny and Reggie and is about to shoot her, but Reggie tells Steve to take off. Steve flies into the air, knocking Standish down to the ground. Steve keeps climbing until he exits the atmosphere and hovers in space. Jenny is awestruck seeing planet Earth from above and finally believes Reggie really is from the future. She explains that at first she thought he and Jake were crazy, but now she believes them. Reggie then asks Steve to take them back to Earth. Steve descends at high speed, and on the way back, Reggie and Jenny float together, blissfully happy, clearly falling for each other. Soon, STEVE lands, and the two get out. Before Reggie leaves, STEVE informs him the recharge is complete and he can take him back to the future whenever he wants. Reggie asks him to cloak, saying he'll come back later, and walks away. We go to Jake and Ranger, leaping from branch to branch and getting close to the humans' fort, keeping watch. They see the humans preparing a huge dinner table, and Jake realizes they're preparing for the holiday, which is only one day away. He also learns the locations of the gunpowder and weapons stores. When Ranger looks beside him, he finds Jake has vanished. At night, Jenny and Reggie are on their way to the nest, and Reggie asks Jenny to come with him to the future. Even though Jenny wants to go with him, she refuses because she's afraid for the flock with the hunters around. The moment Jenny looks behind her, Reggie is gone. We see Jake carrying Reggie and running through the forest, explaining that tomorrow is the holiday and they must attack the village right now, believing this is what the Great Turkey told him to do. Reggie snaps at him and tells him the Great Turkey doesn't exist. Jake loses his temper and nearly strangles him, then apologizes and tells him his story. He lived in a laboratory where huge numbers of turkeys were locked in cages. Jake's mother managed to hide him from the humans and asked him to escape and take the eggs with him. She got him out of the cage and gave him the eggs to flee with, but unluckily, one of the humans saw him. Jake grabbed the eggs and kept running and made it past the fence. But sadly, he couldn't get the eggs out, and the humans took them from him. Jake was crushed by failure, frustration, and deep grief. Then suddenly, as he walked alone, the Great Turkey appeared to him, encouraged him, told him never to give up, to search for the pardoned turkey and join him so they could save all the turkeys, and gave him the doorknob. Reggie is moved by Jake's story and apologizes to him, then asks how they can destroy the humans' fort. Jake explains that if they destroy the gunpowder and weapon stores, the humans won't be able to attack them again. Reggie is thrilled, because if the humans stop attacking the turkeys, he can take Jenny with him to the future. The two set off and approach the fort. Reggie gets flung high by a tree branch, sails inside, and lands on one of the houses. Unluckily, the dogs spot him and give chase. Reggie runs fast to escape, but the dogs corner him. By chance, Reggie pulls out the remote and gets them chasing the laser pointer. He also opens the gate for Jake, who comes in and starts chasing the laser himself. Reggie steers the dogs away, exits the fort, and shuts the gate. Jake and Reggie then agree that one of them will go burn the gunpowder store while the other burns the weapons store. Before we continue, I think you forgot to hit the like button. Press like now, my friend, and subscribe now. Reggie takes a gunpowder barrel, brings it into the weapons store, and connects the fuse. Jake, meanwhile, enters Standish's quarters and connects the fuse to a gunpowder barrel. When he spots the powder horn next to the sleeping Standish, he decides to take it as proof to the turkey flock that he destroyed the weapons. He successfully swaps the horn with a corn, takes it, then goes and frees the imprisoned turkeys, gets them out, and all four sneak out of the fort without anyone seeing or sensing them. They then light the fuses, the fire races along, enters the fort, and blows up the first weapons store. Before the second barrel explodes, Standish shoves it out quickly, and it explodes outside. Of course, when Reggie and Jake see the two explosions, they believe all the weapons are destroyed and run from the place fast. But unfortunately, the gunpowder inside the horn keeps spilling onto the ground the whole way as they walk. Soon they return to the nest, and the chief asks what happened. Reggie explains that he and Jake destroyed the humans' weapon store and their traps, and that they're all safe now. Jake shows him Standish's powder horn, and everyone believes them, celebrates, and cheers for them. Back at the humans' fort, everyone is bewildered by what happened, assuming the Native Americans did it. But Standish explains that the turkeys are the cause and that one of them stole his powder horn. Unluckily, he spots the gunpowder trail spilled on the ground, lights it, and discovers the path they took. Meanwhile, Reggie goes to Jenny and asks if she'll come with him to the future now that the flock is safe. But suddenly, he sees the burning powder trail racing toward them. It reaches the nest, and they chase it until it leads them to Jake, and they realize the humans have found their location. Indeed, the humans arrive at the nest and start destroying the tree. Everyone panics. Jake feels guilty and runs off. The chief calms everyone and orders them to flee, but the moment one group exits the nest, the humans catch them and lock them in cages. The turkeys retreat back into the nest, so the humans send the dogs in after them, and Standish sets the tree on fire to force the turkeys out. The chief orders everyone to escape through the tunnels leading to the lake. They reach it and jump into the water one after another. At that moment, Jenny tells Reggie they must go back and save the chicks quickly. Dodging the dogs, they set off, but as they run, debris collapses in front of them, blocking the path. Luckily, Jake arrives, having managed to save all the chicks and the eggs, but the dogs spot them and give chase. Meanwhile, the chief is about to jump into the water when he sees Jenny and the others coming toward him. Before the path closes off, he holds up the rocks at the last moment, and once they're through, he orders them to jump into the water. Jenny refuses to leave him, but her father says goodbye and has Reggie take her and jump. Before the dogs reach him, the debris collapses on the chief and the place is destroyed. Jenny and Reggie emerge from the water and see the humans celebrating, thrilled that they burned the nest, marching off with a huge number of captured turkeys. The next day, the remaining turkeys return to the burnt nest, everyone heartbroken because their chief died. Jenny takes half of her father's shell pendant, understanding that whoever holds the matching half will be the new chief. She takes the piece to Ranger and puts the two halves together, but they don't match. When Ranger tries the piece against Jenny's half, it matches hers, and she becomes the new chief of the flock. The moment Reggie learns this, he walks away, heartbroken. Jenny addresses the flock, rallying them. The humans are evil, they burn their nest and kidnap their friends, they must fight them. Meanwhile, Reggie goes to the time machine. Before he boards, Jake arrives and begs him not to leave. Reggie loses his temper and shouts at him, telling him they caused everything that happened and that he's a liar, because there is no great turkey. He made up all these lies. He asks if Jake will come back with him to the future, but Jake refuses, saying he will never give up no matter what, just as the great turkey told him. Reggie boards the time machine and asks Steve to take him back to the future. Steve takes off and soon arrives in the future. Reggie steps out and meets the girl who tells him she's sleepy and dozes off. The moment Reggie opens the door, he's startled to see a copy of himself. He slams the door and accidentally breaks the knob. This duplicate keeps chasing Reggie, and he learns it's Reggie from the future, who traveled 100 times just to reach him. He tells him he must go back and save Jenny and the flock because they're about to war with the humans. Suddenly, a third Reggie appears and confirms that Jenny, Jake, and the entire flock will die if he doesn't intervene and save them. By chance, Reggie notices the doorknob in his hand and realizes he must travel through time and become the great turkey himself. Steve chimes in, teasing him, making him understand that he is the great turkey and that he must go back to Jake when he was still young and encourage him. Then a fourth Reggie appears and celebrates with them. Reggie says his goodbyes, boards the time machine, and takes off. Meanwhile, Jake goes to the turkey flock and apologizes for everything that happened. Ranger hands him a spear and asks him to fight alongside them. We go to young Jake, who is stunned by the appearance of the great turkey Reggie, who encourages him, tells him never to give up no matter what, gives him the doorknob, and asks him to find the pardoned turkey. He then leaves him and takes off to return to the past. At that moment, Jenny and the turkey flock approach the fort to attack the humans. When Standish and the humans see them, they burst out laughing, but the turkeys attack with flaming pumpkin projectiles, striking them hard. We see the Native Americans watching from afar. Jenny and the entire flock charge and holding spears to attack the humans. Standish orders his men to ready the cannons. They roll out the cannons and fire. The cannonballs streak toward the turkeys, but just before the projectiles hit them, they freeze in place at the last moment and shoot high into the sky, sucked toward the vortex appearing in the air. Even the cannons fly up into the air, and when Standish grabs onto one, he gets pulled up along with the cannonballs and vanishes. The time machine appears. Steve addresses the humans and presents to them the great turkey. Reggie descends from the time machine, approaches the humans, and offers them pizza. The delivery guy steps out of the time machine and serves pizza to everyone present. The humans and Native Americans love it. The humans rejoice and swear off eating turkey. Jenny runs to Reggie and thanks him for saving them. The governor also thanks Reggie for saving them from hunger and from conflict with the Native Americans, and humans and turkeys become friends. After that, Jake bids Reggie and the whole turkey flock farewell, having decided to travel to the future. He boards the time machine and takes off. As for Reggie, he decides to marry Jenny and stay living with her in the past. A few minutes later, Jake returns from the future with a chicken and a duck, telling Reggie they have to save them from the humans too. And with that, our film ends. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell to receive the latest videos.